about the black and white and gray of relationships and of what happens, what goes on in a human being's heart.
I don't think anyone's ever done a movie like this before. I don't think a movie like this has ever been written before. We're forging new territory here.
You know, anytime you watch a film that's got this much depth, it's like a hologram. The more you get, and then the more you're aware that you don't get, the more you can get.
At its core, it's a love story, and it's a mystery. But that is oversimplifying it.
I think there's a lot of different things that influence the story of Yesterday Was a Lie. One of my ideas was to tell a story that basically had no first act. My idea was to do a 2-hour movie that you walked in after and you missed the first half hour.
When I first read the script, I was completely enthralled. I read it in one sitting, cover to cover, and then I went back and read it again immediately.
I realized that by about 15, 20 pages, like, oh, there's something else going on here, and I need to pay attention. I think I backed up 5 pages to reread to go forward again.
You have to figure out what's going on at the same time Hoyle's figuring out what's going on. So you're on this journey with her. You're following the clues that are given to her. You're experiencing life the way she experiences it.
The first page alone blew me away, and I didn't see anything coming. I mean, I could not predict what was going to happen on the next page.
The initial idea behind the story was to use quantum mechanics as a metaphor for heartbreak and human relationships. The sets, the lighting, the costuming, everything should be a reflection of this kind of non-linear time idea, which is the theme that runs through the whole movie. So I'm working with our composer, Christopher Carter, on the underscore of the film and the jazz sound, because there's nothing that is more effective in immediately creating mood and atmosphere than music.
I've always loved golden era jazz. There's a romance to that era. Hoyle's life is stuck in the past. And so I think the music being a parallel for that is wonderful in its sense. I'm singing for a reason, although I'm not letting her know or anyone else know that I'm singing for a reason. With Singer, nothing's accidental. Oh, I think with the whole film, nothing's accidental.
The different characters in this movie correspond with certain Jungian archetypes. I love the work of Jung. I love his work in alchemy and in dream analysis, and the work that Vogler has done in looking at the ways that Jungian archetypes play into literature.
Alchemy is the refining of properties into pure gold and getting only the finest out of a large array of different elements. It's interesting that I'm leading Hoyle to do the same kind of thing. I'm leading her to get the essence of the truth.
When you journey into truth, you get your butt kicked. It just shatters the psyche when you find out the truth of existence and who you are, who you really are.
Although it's not linear, there are moments of awareness on Hoyle's part. You know, it's fascinating that the human psyche, you can try to suppress something and it will come out some other way. And that's sort of what's happening in Hoyle's life.
It's really a wonderful process that we're in, getting to work through the script. My favorite thing to do in the universe is to just get all the elements of something that I can, get all the information, and then come up with more ideas that will feed that information, and that information feeds my ideas.
I mean, that's what's amazing about the script, is that the more you dig, the more you find. And I'm not sure I'll ever get to the bottom of it, because there's so much complexity there, and it's an ongoing journey.
You know, the more we look, the more we see. And I think that this film is going to be that way for the audience as well.
It's very important not to underestimate your audience. Audiences can get movies like Pi, they can get movies like Primer. They will go along for the ride with you. You got to give them credit. And I think one thing that this film does is it gives the audience credit.
Every time you watch it, you're going to get something else. You're going to find something else. You're going to see that link, that link, that link. It's never ending.
To me, the biggest message of the film is the trap of serving the ego in your journey. Because if you're only serving yourself, then you miss everything.
People need to make choices they won't regret. And I think that we live in an era where people, like everything else, are really disposable. And the script talks about how we get fragmented when we are disposed of or when we dispose of.
There's always clues in every philosophy, every religion, and in the script. In the story, there's clues. And to me, it's not just a story. It shows you, ways of discovering who you are.